To a very cool group of women yesterday. I did a local workshop at Starfit, a studio here in North Arlington. It's a woman-only gym, which I love, and you can tell that they put the time and the effort to it. It's that kind of bathroom where you walk in and there's hair ties. Like, I automatically love you if there's extra hair ties. Those are my people. But the age group was really interesting. We had about 15 people, and all except for one were women that were in more of a perimenopause, menopause age group. And it was really interesting because the questions that were being asked were very similar to the questions that would be asked in an early postpartum group. And that's where I think we have a lot of work to do for a couple of reasons. One, we're talking about, perimenopause and menopause. There can be some overlap with postpartum, especially places like where I live here in the DC metro area, where, my average new mom is somewhere between 38 and 42. So we definitely can have some overlap in those symptoms. Two, both are low estrogen states. And three, we're still talking about leakage with impact. And I really made a point to say to these women, hey, the information that I'm giving out now addressing impact, that we didn't have that information 5 years ago, 10 years ago, longer than that. So we need to get caught up on some of these strategies. And it was really cool because they were very interested and they were very tired of having to navigate this, because a lot of them, their kids were probably older than 10. And they put up with this leakage for a long time. They know they're getting in the age where they want to do more impact exercises, and they're taking the time to do more lifting heavier weights and trying to take care of themselves going into the perimenopause and menopause years. And they have this leftover kind of issue from postpartum that we just honestly we're like, all right, go run, see how it goes, or go try working out. We didn't have the strategies that we have now. We literally, pelvic floor was, you just looked at the pelvic floor and you did Kegels, and that was kind of it. So it was very cool to kind of not only give them that historical perspective that things have changed and evolved, but also be like, hey, you know what? There's some things that we can do now. The good news is you may walk out with some strategies that work out really well. And the bad news is you might realize that there's a lot of things going on. But the good news is there's things that we can do now that we couldn't necessarily do before. So that was a really cool kind of conversation to have with, I think, women that have been left behind a little bit. And they're so focused on kind of, hey, what's coming up next, that we really just kind of need to get them caught up from behind. But another thing super cool about this, we had it as a donation class. It's the first time that I've done this, because I do think it's one of those things that I think if people have to pay something, they will show up. But we did all donations, and it was half went to Arlington Free Clinic, which is here locally, and the other half we've given to And Mother, which is a nonprofit that helps get moms on the start line of races, gives them support as far as, if they are pro runners, getting good wording in their contracts to make sure that they have, lactation options, just all sorts of things like that. So it was really cool to be able to give locally and then also contribute to the moms who are really killing it and putting some, just getting people to pay attention on kind of a much bigger scale. So super lucky to have an opportunity to give a talk like this, and then also be able to give to these organizations. But again, have the conversation. But really, again, it's a lot of the similar concepts in early postpartum. It just keeps going. We just keep talking about it and keep helping women just get better quality of life. And that's super cool. So anyway, if you have questions about either leakage in impact in postpartum or perimenopause, menopause, let me know. I'm happy to kind of let you know what we chatted about, regardless of if you're a mom kind of actively going through this, or you're a postpartum provider and just curious about kind of the stuff that we talk about. So anyway, cool experience yesterday. happy, Monday after time change. Totally on brand for that today.